the significant decision points for you. We'll get a little more technical here for a few moments. You'll see a lot of data here now. I'm going to put on the screen for you. Number one, at age 59 and a half, you are eligible to tap your tax-deferred savings without the early withdrawal penalty. Now, this is a great benefit. This means your TSP, your IRAs, you can access. You can take that money. You still owe tax. If you never pay tax, you owe tax on the distributions, but there's a 10% penalty from the IRS that you no longer will owe. That's a great deal turning 59 and a half. Now, a couple of extra positives on this very front. If you retire or separate from service from in a year you turn 55 or older, you can access that employer-sponsored money, the TSP, without the 10% penalty because you separated from service at an older age, at 55 or older. So retiring at 56, 57, you can access your TSP without the 10% penalty. Not an IRA. If you draw from an IRA, the penalty will apply until you're 59 and a half. So word of caution for the moment. If you're going to retire in that window, leave at least some of your TSP in the TSP so you can have access to it without penalty. If you roll your money to an IRA or a Roth IRA, that's fine. Just don't move all of it, because if you need some of that money, you will avoid your 10% early withdrawal penalty only if you pull it from the TSP. So that's age 59 and a half. Next, let's look at age 62. That is the age in which you can begin to draw Social Security. Now, be careful. If you do this, there will be a reduction in your Social Security compared to your full retirement age that you could take from the government. And once you take that lower amount at 62, it's permanent. You can't go get more later on your own record once you've turned that record on. So be aware of that, though. At 62, you can create another income stream. You got break-even ages. If you start at 62 or if you wait till 65 or 66, 67, some other older age, will you come out better waiting? And the answer is it depends. How long are you going to live? What are your income needs? What about your spouse and their Social Security record? There's a whole host of decision-making points around Social Security. Visit our website at retireinstitute.com. We've got several other videos on that, and I'll give you some other chances to learn more about Social Security and your federal benefits here in a few minutes as well. But understand that's the earliest that you can draw on your own benefit is age 62. At 65, you become eligible for Medicare. Now, what does that mean? It means that you can you automatically go on Part A, and then Part B is an optional doctors and such. Part A is hospital, Part B is for doctors. You can choose Part B, or you can not take option B and just use your FEHB and keep it as your primary. That's an option. I'm not making a recommendation. I'm just telling you these are the choices that we see federal employees deal with. Or you can keep Medicare Part B and have your federal health plan be secondary. Now again, if Medicare is in the car, they drive. They don't like to sit in the passenger seat. They like to drive. But FEHB could be your secondary insurance in that case. That's coming at 65. Make sure you're thinking through that expense of adding Medicare Part B, and that's part of your budget, or not having FEHB, whatever your choices may be. Make sure you understand those and deal with them. Next, we want to look at full retirement age for Social Security. For those watching, it's 66 to 67, depending on your year of birth. That is the time in which you get what Social Security has declared your full benefit. If you wait longer than that period of time, you get an 8% increase on your benefit for every year that you wait for the rest of your life. So if you were 67 when you're drawing your benefit and you wait to 68, you're going to get 108% of your benefit for life. Again, is that a good or bad idea? Well, tell me how long you're going to live and I'll tell you how good an idea it is. So those are issues that you need to think through when and why you're going to draw. Lastly, on my just key dates that I wanted to give you as you run through your 60s, at the great age of 70 and a half, there are required minimum distributions on your accounts. On everything that is an IRA, everything in the TSP, you have required minimum distributions. That percentage that the government forces you to draw grows every year. The first year it's about 3.6%, a little bit more every year as you age. But if you do not need your TSP or you weren't planning on drawing it, the government will force you to draw it. You'll have to add it to your income on your tax return, and go from there. Now you'll see a note on the screen here that the forfeiture rules apply. I have printed out just so you can see there is this TSP 775 in this document. It talks about if you don't take your required minimum distribution, how your account will be forfeited, and then you have to go through the wickets of getting it, for lack of better English, unforfeited, and take possession of that. It's not a pretty picture, so be careful with the TSP. They're not necessarily required to hold your hand and make sure that you get that RMD every year, and you surely don't want to forfeit that account. Be careful of that. But make sure at 70.5 you know what your required minimum distribution is. If you're not taking money actively from your retirement accounts, you will have to. So address that earlier. Don't wait until the time bomb hits at 70. Take that bull by the horns and stay in control. Okay?